Hey guys, Mexican Russian Homer here. Going to make you guys a tutorial on how to install an HIC. I never thought I would have ever needed to make this, but I've gotten enough requests at the skate park on kids who don't know what I'm riding and how to install an HIC, so I'm going to give you guys a step-to-step tutorial on how to do this. Even though it's obvious and it's common sense, I still feel the need to do it just so that kids who are new to scootering and have never looked up videos like I have and want to learn how to make, how to put together an HIC and the difference between an HIC and an ICS and an SCS, well, here's your video. Basically, an HIC is short for Hidden Internal Compression. What it is it's one of these. It's a shim with a bolt in it. And what it does is the bolt goes into the shim, right? And then the shim would go over the fork, right? And when it does, it goes up like so. And then what you do is you twist this in and you make it tighter. Let me make sure. Okay. So basically the first thing you do is you put your fork, make sure you have your crown race on the right way, straight, right? And you make sure your bearings are in your headset. This isn't integrated, so I don't have any cups. So you put your forks in, right? Make sure all your bearings are straight. Make sure everything is straight, right? And then you put your shim on. There's different shims for HICs, but mine is the Lucky shim. Personally, I think the best shim, just because it's really easy to take off your bars with this shim, because it's like a plastic shim, so they kind of slide off. And it has not gotten loose once yet, so I'm really happy with the shim. After you put the shim on, you want to put your bolt in. Make sure these are metric bolts, so make sure you use a metric Allen wrench. There's been hundreds of times when kids ask me to fix their scooters and their bolts are stripped to nothing because they use China. Use metric. Metric, if for you who don't know what metric is, it's in numbers. 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, numbers. China or US, I don't know what the difference, I forgot to be honest. It's like 3/16, 3/18, 4/5. Like, I think it's a 3/16 could work when you tighten it loosely, like when you tighten it without it getting really tight. But if you actually sit down and tighten it hard, you'll strip the crap out of your bolts, and then you'll have to either cut your bolt or be out of luck. I don't know what would happen if this bolt on your top cap is completely, on your shim, is completely like broken. Like, that would suck if it's completely stripped, because then I don't know how you would get it out. But anyways, back to HIC. It's a shim, and it acts like if you had an SES, which is the standard compression, it acts like the little top cap inside of the SES that you put in, and what it does is it tightens it. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So when you tighten it, right, you're gonna tighten it. I like to tighten it pretty tight, right? This is considered tight, and it's still spinning really good. You have to remember, since this is not an SCS that has some weight, it doesn't have a lot of weight on it. So this is a little bit tight to spin. But as soon as you put your bars on, which you should always have a clamp on, which I took my clamp off, you put your clamp and bars on, you put it on, you tighten it, it's golden. It's gonna spin like butter. You wanna make sure also, when you tighten it, there's no play, because if there's play, that's bad. That's disaster waiting to happen. I know for me personally, I never used to care about tightening it, like my first week or two of riding, and I broke my bearings in my headset. And if you break them, like having like an integrated, right, that's really easy to find new bearings. But not only did I have like a headset that no one else had, I had a Nico, right, which who the hell has Nicos, right? There was no normal bearings to fit them, and sealed bearings on some headsets don't fit right. So you want to make sure that there's tight so that there's no play. right? Then after you put your clamp and bars, well, the clamp should be on the bars, but after you put your bars on, right? You put your bars on. See how it just slides on and slides off? Look at that. Like it's nothing. You put it on, just slide off. It's really easy. You put that on, you tighten your stuff, you feel it. If it's a little too tight, you can always loosen this up. Just make sure there's no play. And that there is basically your tutorial on how to install an HIC and what an HIC is. Also, the third compression, which I did not mention, was a ICS. Right, which is, they put a star nut into your bars and it goes through your forks. It's like a huge bolt, like this big. And it goes through your forks and it tightens into your bars. And then there's also the IHC, which is kind of like a HIC. I really don't like them, but I know the blunt forks is the only forks that have them. Not a big fan of those. And just to let you know, any compression system is all personal preference. Don't sit there and have kids tell you the SCS is the best one. That's not true. It's whatever you like more. I actually traded my SCS and Lucky T-bars for Lucky Pry bars and an HIC. And I personally like an SCS much more. A HIC much more. An SCS, I guess, looks cool, but I got the Proto double clamp, right? Which is the same thing as, it looks the same, but it's half as small. And I personally like the way this looks better than an SCS does. And also with an HIC, you need oversized bars. Not only do you need oversized bars, your bars need to have a slit. If they do not have a slit, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work properly. I don't think they'll tighten as tight. I never tried, so I don't know the consequences, but your bars need to have a slit. They need to be oversized. So if you also don't know what oversized bars are, they're bigger than standard. So I'm getting an example of standard bars. I have right here razor bars. These are standard size bars. You see, these do not fit. These are standard. Oversized are bigger bars that actually can fit on your HIC. HIC only works on oversized bars. And they're cheap. I think it's like 12 bucks for an HIC, counting the shim and everything. So yeah, that's the end of my video. Sorry for making it a bit long, but I hope for those of you who have never had a compression system, this helped. Also, you have to have threaded forks. It drives me crazy when kids are riding an SCS with razor forks. That drives me nuts. You might as well invest in threadless forks that are cheaper in an HIC than threaded forks with an SCS. That's stupid. So they have to be threadless forks. Remember, HICs for oversized bars only. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. See ya.